Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Sonny.
I'm T.
You forgot your line?
No.
You supposed to say, I'm T and this is not wrong, Norris is right.
I'm supposed to say the whole thing by myself?
Yeah.
I thought we were saying it together.
All right. What's going on, y'all? This is Sonny.
And I'm T.
And this is
this
not
is...
wrong, nor is it
Okay,
right.
we got to do it
Oh,
together.
Third try. Hey, what's going... True.
You got to like stand completely still. Like just sit down in the chair and not even play with that.
Yeah.
Put that down.
Please. We love you. Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Sonny.
And I'm T.
And this is not wrong, nor is it right.
One of us got to say it.
I to see.
One of us.
Are you or me? All right, I'll say it.
Okay.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Sonny.
And I'm T.
And this is not wrong, nor is it right.
For better or worse, we bow to the light. Not wrong, nor is it right. Not wrong, nor is it right. We tryna live right. We partners for life. Not wrong, nor is it right. Not wrong, nor is it right. Love conquers.
So, we really doing this?
I guess so. You dragged me into this.
So we doing a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I guess we're doing a podcast. Listen, man, we just wanted to, add some excitement to our relationship and then let people into this dynamic relationship that we have. A lot of people tell us they love what we're doing. But I think when we decided to get married, we were so young, and some people was questioning whether we were doing the right thing. And so the name of the podcast is Not Wrong, Nor Is It Right, because look, everything isn't great, but everything isn't bad. Everything isn't perfect, but it's not the worst. And, we don't make all of the right decisions. We don't make all of wrong decisions. So it's not wrong, nor is it right.
Right. And that's what marriage is.
Yeah.
Nobody's right, nobody's wrong. So
we don't keep tallies. We try not to keep tallies.
Yeah,
Because sometimes
you try not
be
to.
like,
life
boy,
happens.
you just did this yesterday. And
yeah, I mean, life happens. So.
But no, we realized that in marriage, it's not about wins and losses. It's not about who's right, who's wrong. Love conquers.
Yes.
Love conquers all of our...
For the sign.
Yeah.
Which was my idea. Wonderful idea.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. So listen, these people, they don't even really know our story.
I know.
They don't know.
They have no idea.
Yeah. How long have we known each other? Can you remember?
I had to ask you yesterday because it kind of shocked me and I had to count on my fingers. Yeah. I have known you since the age of, I want to say 11 or 12. Yeah. Because we have letters buried in our drawer and we'll pull them out one episode, but we have letters.
I think it dated back to
dated to
05.
2005. Yeah. And they're falling apart. But yeah, 2005, I was 12.
Dang.
So that put a lot into perspective.
Yeah.
And in the letter, I was talking I knew you for a long time. So that's why I'm I think I even knew you before.
And what's crazy
that.
is back then we knew that we love. Obviously, we couldn't really know what love truly was at that age, right? I mean, really, because I think we both was trying to figure out who God was, and without God, do you really truly know love? But I ain't trying to get too deep on episode 1.
Not only that, but we were in middle school. I wasn't thinking about
exactly, and so I'm saying
that.
I wasn't even close to saved. I was out in the streets. So let me ask you, what's your story of the way this whole thing got came together, the way we started from 05 to 2024. What's your version of the story?
After having kids and stuff, there is such thing as losing bits and pieces of memories.
Yeah.
So I do remember us being super young, and back then in our day and age, being outside was as close as we got to social media. I mean, we had social media, but being outside was the hype. So outside, I was the new girl around the block, and You know, I don't want to toot my own horn, but you know
Go
that
ahead
new
and toot
girl.
that horn.
You know the new
Go
girl
ahead
around
and
the
toot
block.
that horn.
Everybody's trying to figure out who this girl, who who's
Yeah.
that, who's that.
We ain't have no girls around the way. I grew up uptown Florida Park. We ain't have no girls.
Everybody was trying to figure out who that girl was. So, yeah, I remember you played with me like a lot. Like your way of flirting and stuff, it was definitely like not bullying. I don't want to use that term, but it was given like playful, I like you, but I don't want to flat out tell you I like you. So I'm going to do it in certain ways. But I feel like, you know, your sister was involved a lot of the time.
Sure,
Brittany letting me know like how you felt.
How dare you call her Brittany? Her name is Shay.
Sheena, Shay. Shout out to my good sis. It's love though. But I feel like she played a factor in a lot of voicing your emotions towards me because you were so young and like I said, playful. So yeah, I remember, you know, we dated or whatever, middle school, and then we broke up, high school, going into high school, and I felt like it was just this area of you treated me like whatever, like blah, and you couldn't find the words to say this is over. Like I want to just, you know, kind of break up. I mean, so I just did it.
You skipped the how did we even get to going together? Did I miss that?
So again, having kids does something to your memory, and I really don't recall
I thought you skipped that in your story. I might have missed it though.
No, I don't even recall the initial like, "Hi, I'm Sonny."
Did you remember us just going together?
I just remember us being together.
All right, when I get a chance to say my side of the story, I tell my niggas how it really went.
Writing letters, and I mean, we don't have, I mean, you want details? Like, we went out to the movies. I remember our little dates and stuff. I mean, we were together. And it felt like I knew you, like, all my life. It felt comfortable. Like, you were my first love. So, he was my first everything, you guys. I mean, we was 12, so, but I experienced a lot of firsts with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were together. We were young. We wrote letters. That was our way of communicating like deep feelings. Because I don't think we both were mature enough to look at each other in the eye and say, this is how I feel.
Sure.
It was like, no, we're writing letters. So whether it was heartbreaking letters, whether it was love letters, whether it was I miss you.
Emotional, man.
We decided to keep them all in our time capsule. We have them. Like I said, we'll share them at a later date. But yeah, I mean, before going down the line of like the rest of our story, that's how I feel like, you know, we initially met. I don't have the clear like vision of it. Right. I just remember, you know.
So okay, you want me to tell the story?
The story is how we met, not how you know.
I'm talking
X,
from
Y, and Z after
05
that.
to 2024. So you.
Oh, so we going down the timeline for
yeah.
real.
Oh,
okay, so no.
Right.
Now you can say how we met, and then we can go on
right,
to
cool.
like,
Let me tell y'all how it went down, Slim. So we outside, we around the way. I got my G Unit tank top on.
Wow.
With my I think did I have hair this time?
You did.
I was chubby.
Cornrows.
With the cornrows, no hang time.
If you can imagine.
So, man, we all around the way, and my older sister, she like, oh Lord, the baby boy about to get up, but
the reality,
right? But Brittany, she like man, it's this new girl around here, and
really?
So we ain't really know who it was, so we all outside, and this is around the time you and Cuz Jazz y'all was real close, so like you would come outside with her. You ain't really know too many people, and
wow,
I had my eye on you, but you know I was never the type to go smack. Unfortunately, Kay was.
Yeah.
And so, in my mind, I'm like, dog, love at first sight, right? But my boy just went smack, and you know what I mean? So y'all first had like a little week of, you know this movie's young, but y'all had a little week of, like he got your number and like, or whatever may have, and I was just sick on the low. But then apparently, you know, that just fumbled out the week. It was young type stuff. But then I told Shano, like, man, I need her. You know what I mean? And so eventually we started, like you said, I really don't remember when the actual, like, we go together happened.
Right.
But,
I don't recall it either.
But next thing I know, we are dating. That young. I ain't going outside no more. I ain't outside playing basketball. And my homies calling my phone like, bro, we outside.
We were still outside.
And I'm saying.
Very minimally,
so you don't
though.
remember me being in Miss Margaret's house like all the time? Okay. Like, especially like...
No, I do remember being in Sylvia's living room all the time also. So
exactly. We used to be in the house all the time.
But we used to be outside too.
But yeah, I mean that was, we was kids.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We had to be outside, like, especially like during the daytime and stuff like that. And yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember that. And then obviously when we escalate the story.
I mean,
like,
yeah.
All right. And so we dating from like 2005 to about, I would say like 2007, 2007 or whatever may have you.
So let me get this straight. You're in the same boat of I don't recall how it initially happened.
Like,
you just did the same thing I did.
No, but I thought in your story you had went from, I don't know.
I legit went a little bit more in detail. Like, we were in middle school and I guess it was the same story.
You're not wrong nor is it right. You understand?
No, seriously, that's what it is.
But so, all right.
And I think it picks up when, by the time we broke up in middle school going to high school. He didn't know how to do it. So I said, okay, let me do it for him because it was just literally like ghost town.
Eventually I came to you and I said some idiotic stuff.
It was given that, and your like energy was just like, I don't want to be with you.
So I got to high school, and it was just like, mind you, Florida Park, we never had no girls. I ain't giving no excuses, but we never had no girls, right? I get to high school, all of a sudden it's a million girls.
Yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, I don't really know like what's going on here. And I found myself like having like a slight crush on another girl. And you was like, you knew me so well that you already knew what was going on. And I just couldn't bring myself to tell you that. So like you said, I started acting out, and then eventually I told you, but you was like, it was forced. And I remember both of us in the middle cut, we was crying because you was like, I'm gonna break it, like listen, I can't do this. So we both, I'm balling out, you balling out. I remember, listen, I literally went in the house that same night, right after we cried in the hut, and it was the Usher song, and it was like, what I gotta do now? I gotta get my shorty back. I was balling out, crying, like, but I really didn't know how to necessarily communicate that or what I was really feeling. So that was still like the immature young boy, being that young. I mean, so we got there. We separated, and you went to high school.
I went to high school. You went to high school.
Yeah, you got into a relationship.
Yeah,
I got into a relationship, but somehow, some way, we always, no matter like,
so bad.
I feel like we both had like one real relationship outside of each other.
Yes.
But it's like we always felt ourselves like, if I see you, if I see you, we kissing it. Like we in the hallways, we like nah. It was like,
you about to tell it all.
I mean, this is what we here for.
I know, right?
But so, and it was like, so it's like every time I saw you, like it was like, it was on.
Yeah.
And
the
you was always a little bit
high.
more disciplined. Yeah, exactly. But so that was that. And so high school, you majority of high school, you dealing with somebody else. I'm dealing with somebody else. I get to college. You get to college. Well, I get to college a year before you.
Yeah.
And you still dealing with homeboy. And I'm in school. And I remember my first day at college. I'm still with Shorty. But I was so alone and lonely. The only person after I called my mother, the only person I knew who to call was you.
Yeah.
And I remember calling you, and you was like, "Are you okay?" But you was still with homeboy, so you was like, you can't call me no more.
Yeah.
Like, we can't do this. You was always a good girl, but you was like,
Yeah.
you can't call me. And really, I wasn't calling you to be on any type of games or anything. It was really like,
it was a new environment.
I didn't know what to do.
Yeah. And you, like you said,
felt
you were
unsafe.
alone. Right.
And, you was always still like a safe place to me.
Yeah.
So that was that. Like, that was college. And eventually, me and Shorty broke up. First, like, we didn't make it out of college. She broke my heart. So I left. I broke your heart to end up getting my heart broke.
Yeah.
You went through your relationship, and we ain't trying to talk down on nobody else, but like, he did you wrong or whatever may have you. But we always had, like, we never went a whole maybe year or whatever without talking to each other.
Maybe close to a year. I don't know.
Someone with no communication at all?
Okay, maybe you're right.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
I can't really remember. Yeah. I do remember, like, it was dibble and dabs of a text here, a text there, or like, how are you? I always knew
that 301-542-7.
And I always, not knowing the phone number. Yeah. I always just knew you had some type of, like, soft spot in my heart. And so, obviously in a new relationship, I didn't want to disrespect it. So, I'm loyal to who I'm with. And so I definitely hit you a couple times with, don't text me like you can't.
For sure. It wasn't sweet.
And this was in college for sure. And like you said, but even rewinding back to high school, that was an experience, but I was like in the 9th grade and people knew who you were at my school. Yeah. And it kind of like, it just sucked, because I do remember that time, 9th grade, I was in school and my friends knew who you were. I was writing your name on my notebook and stuff. And then before I knew it, it was over. But what a time. Sorry, guys.
Oh, yeah. No, let me give him a disclaimer too. No. My wife will make up a word or sometimes it won't even be a word, or sometimes it's like a word that don't have nothing to do with what she's trying to say, and she would just throw that thing in there. Yesterday we driving and she's like, I pulled off before letting the car warm up, and she said,
interrupt him.
She said, babe, you didn't even let my car percolate.
So I'm not going to do that on this podcast. I'm not going to make up words and stuff.
It wasn't wrong. No, was it right?
It was just silly.
Yeah. It just didn't fit.
So most of the time the words are words. They're real words. I just use them in different contexts because it just sounds like it should go there. Yeah. So anyways, it sounds great. Like, you didn't let my car percolate. Like, but anyways, so going to college, yep. That relationship ended. But like you said, it was always like a thought in the back of my mind. Like, if he ever becomes single and I'm single, I always felt like something was going to drive us back together. Or I knew, because I just knew the type of person you were. You were young, but you weren't like everybody else. Yeah. You weren't like all the, dudes from around the way. It was something different about you. And I discovered that about you at a young age. So I knew, like, once you grew up, I knew you would be like an amazing person. So I was like, if I become single and he's single, some way, somehow, it may work. Yeah. And I was like, I think high school and obviously college had to just allow us the time and space to grow up and to figure out what we wanted.
My bad, I'm sorry.
No, you good.
College was interesting, though, because there was this time where I was obviously single, starting to find Christ, starting to find the Lord. Hold on one second. True. I need for you to...
You
shout
have
out
to
my
stop.
son. Can you please...
You got to go sit down.
I'll call you in the... Shout out my son. This is our first episode, guys. He's probably all in the camera or whatever. But
laughs and giggles in the background.
No edits. He because you're gonna keep everything.
Listen.
But it was this crazy time. Like, okay, I'm starting to know Christ.
Mm-hmm.
You always had Christ in you. Shout out Miss Margaret for raising you in the church and all that type of stuff. But you always had an idea for Christ, but you never. Well, when we were younger, you wasn't super duper locked in, right? So it's interesting that during our breakup, we both discovered Christ, right?
Yeah.
But there was this one time. It was actually 2 times where my heart was broken. You broke my heart prior to us getting back together completely. One time, your homeboy was going through like y'all little mess or whatever, and you was home for some type of break, and me, I remember me, you, Banks, and Tiff. Shout out Banks, shout out Tiff.
Did we go bowling?
We went bowling, and this weekend you promised me things was over, and we was getting back on like, man, you could kind of try to lock in and things like that. And so you was home for that weekend. We went out bowling. Everything felt perfect. Banks telling Tip like, yeah, this the one that got away. This is hot right here. And then like that Monday you got back in school, I remember you text me like, I'm so sorry, but me and him gonna try to figure this thing out.
Yeah.
Da 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 da. That was one time. Okay. Then the second time, we like I said, we both finding Christ. And you were like being pastored by a guy at VCU, and I think he was almost like telling you to make sure it was you pretty much you had to go through like a prayer and fasting type of thing. Like you was like, I want this, but I'm not sure yet. Like, and so you had to pray. Yeah. And I'm on the field. You can ask Chris, Jim, Cam. I'm boo-hooing on the field like, this the second time she done told me. Like, I'm boo-hooing.
Listen.
But I respect that so much, though, because hindsight is like, we both are believers. Correct. And it's like, it's nothing more, no better way to know that I'm assured than by the fact that you got the yes from God. Yeah.
And even that first time, I do remember us going bowling, me coming home. Like, now that you kind of talking about it, I do remember. And I do remember going back to school, I think. And I do remember sending a message or something like, okay, this isn't, like, I'm going to try to make it work again. Yeah. And lo and behold, it just didn't work. And I broke up with him. Yeah. I was too much of a good girl. But that's life. I was just always the type of person.
Too much of a good girl. I don't know what that means.
I was just no, because I was always just loyal to whoever I was with, and I mean I've only been in 2 real relationships, like committed real relationships. Obviously, you have your dealings with people, but once I'm with you, I'm with you. So,
and that was another thing. Like that was a selling point to me. I'm like, bruh, no, I took her virginity. No, that's what I'm saying. And then, so I'm like, young, I'm just keeping it 100. Yeah. You, especially coming out of college, you thinking about body count.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And I'm like, bruh, super low. Yeah. Like, only me and homeboy. Nah.
Thanks, babe.
I need that. I need that.
Yes, and then the second time was actual after I broke up with him.
How did I even get there?
I don't know. I guess you still just reminiscing on how good I was, or am, period. But yeah, that second time, it was like, okay, let's explore this. Yeah. I was like, I broke up with him.
So you're going to be modest?
No, I'm talking it through. The second time, I was like, okay.
You realized I was saved and you was on my line.
Oh, like, first of all,
I was playing the drums for the gospel band.
Yes.
And I was and look,
that,
y'all,
he really tried to use that as a selling point.
I was
that
using
was
the
his
Lord.
Selling point to get back.
The Lord was using me and I was using the Lord as a selling point. He
calls me and I'm in my room. I'm in my room in my dorm, and he's just like, yeah, I'm playing drums for like this church now. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. I got saved or whatever. I'm a part of the band.
I'll hit you up, be like,
Da
yeah,
da
I just got
da.
out of Bible study.
Just had a Bible study, just got out of rehearsal. I'm like, okay. So obviously that is sparking some interest because in college, that's where I really kind of got my relationship like super tight with God. Like it was just me and God, honestly. And so with him even trying to come back into the picture, I was just like, the saying like, an ex is supposed to stay in the past. Like, so just even them coming back is almost just like, what do you want? Like, and is this serious? Because I was just always a serious girl when it came to relationships. Like I said, you have your Dylans and your people on this side that be cute with. But then you have your crew where it's like, okay, I'm going to be serious. I'm going to hold it down or whatever. So
I feel like it's two sayings. One is ask, like, but the other one is if it's really meant to be, it'll come back.
Okay, yeah, that part. But like I said, when you're in your,
so I'm a meant to
when
be,
I was
like,
in
I'm a meant to be guy. Like I ain't the.
That's how I was.
Right.
But
I'm the meant to be
again,
nigga,
like finding, like in my relationship with Christ, it was just me and him. And so when you came back, I'm just like, I need to make sure this is right because this is you spending the block again.
Right.
And I'm like, it need to be sure. Like it needs to be right. Like we can't get together and there's no
I was a
direction.
New creature.
It's no.
I was a new creature.
No,
I was a new creation. I was born again. I'm not the same man anymore.
Yeah,
so
that's what I was hoping for. And so even with that, I had to put you.
Still using the Lord.
I had to put you through the test. Like, okay, let me consult with my father. And I legit fasted and prayed and was like, yeah, don't call me, like don't text me. And I think it was so bad one time, like, and I think I told you this, I was legit in my room, like reading scripture or whatever, taking notes, and I had music playing on my phone, and I think you tried to like call and it went straight to voicemail. Or no, it said something like voicemail can't, something like it wouldn't let you leave a voicemail either, I think. And I didn't have my phone on no type of setting, but I felt like that was like just God, like, no, leave her alone. Like let her spend time with me so I can give her the confirmation that's needed. And so even after that, it was still just pins and needles, like for me, because I was still just nervous. So I'm just like, well, everything that I want, like all my morals, all of my rules, like if he can't abide by that, then it's just not meant to be. But if he's willing to say like, okay, T, no sex until we get married. Okay, T, no, da-da-da. Like whatever I asked, I was like, okay, if he really want me, he'll
say that for another conversation.
He'll thug it out. Like, so, yeah, we don't have to go in all the details.
Nah, yeah. But I mean, because I think that's going to be interesting to see how or if we were celibate prior to getting married. So y'all might want to stick around for that one for the next episode. So okay, after that you come home in 2013. You come home
for like winter break.
For winter break.
It was like November or something.
I had already asked your grandma. I got the blessing from your grandmother. Got the blessing from well, no, that was 2014. You were in college when I was trying to get to the engagement.
Oh, the engagement. Yeah, that was 2014.
2014.
But yeah, I remember us getting back together in college.
Got back, we made it official
like September 2013.
Then 2014, I'm obviously locked in with music by this time where I'm, starting my rap career. And you were home at a specific time during that year, and I had the whole. I think you were home for like a week. I forget what break it was.
It might have been winter.
But I had already got the blessing from your grandmother.
Thanksgiving. I think so, because I think it was like November when you proposed. It was some.
Anyway, 2014 we get engaged. You still had another year in college. So that was a little difficult, like the distance. So we had a whole year being engaged, but you were in school. Yeah. But honestly, I think that might have worked out to be good because if we were together as much, like, Lord knows that could have been tragic.
Because even once I came home,
I know,
and graduated.
Next episode.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, with this being our first time, we still figuring this thing out. So I think the recording on our main camera stopped. Man, but listen, I'm pretty sure we got enough content for you guys to kind of get a good idea of where we are.
Yeah.
We'll see where the footage stopped there on our main camera, and just try to pick up from there on the next episode. But man, we hope that you guys enjoy. Make sure you like and subscribe, and there'll be more to come. All right. See
Peace.
For better or worse, we vow to this life. Not wrong, nor is it right. Not wrong, nor is it right. We tryna live right. We partners for life. Not wrong, nor is it right. Not wrong, nor is it right. Love conquers.